Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the global Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
DA wants nothing to do with the EFF, the MK, and the PA party. Hello, my name is Reneilwe Morema, and I am your host right here on the African Diaspora News channel, reporting live from Johannesburg, South Africa. Major political parties are expected to hold meetings in the coming days to decide how to approach coalition negotiations. Helen Zille, who oversees the DA's day-to-day affairs as chair of the Federal Council, says the FedEx meeting would also prepare for the hard negotiations expected to start this week. Zille says the DA was probing 5 possible options, but what sticks out for them more is either to stay as the opposition or go into full-blown coalition. Asked if they would consider going into a coalition with the ANC, Zille said her party wanted to keep the EFF and the MK party from being part of the government. They will not enter a government of national unity if the EFF and MK is also part of that government.
The coalition included the ANC, MK, as well as the EFF. So you're saying that those political parties are off the table when it comes to coalition talks?
Well, it's very difficult to do a coalition with parties that don't share your values and principles. MK has campaigned for the abolition of the Constitution, the removal of the judiciary in the country, and the replacement of the rule of law in South Africa with a sovereign parliament like we had during the apartheid system. I don't think those are policies or approaches that are congruent with the Democratic Alliance's view of defending and protecting the Constitution.
So to be clear, you're closing the door.
Absolutely won't speak to parties that don't believe in the Constitution.
Which includes the ANC, MK and the EFF.
EFF and the EFF and MK have campaigned explicitly on the things that we believe fundamentally are wrong.
So the ANC is still on the cards?
We will talk to the ANC, we will talk to the Freedom Front, we will talk to the IFP, we will talk to any of those parties that share the values of constitutionalism and want to defend the Constitution. I think the worst thing we can have for South Africa is a consensus that rips up the Constitution that was so hard fought for and which has protected and defended the rights of citizens. If the Constitution goes, it's going to tear apart the very fabric of our society.
During the election campaign, we did give an undertaking to the country. We will do whatever is necessary to keep out what we call the doomsday coalition of the ANC, MK, EFF, and we will strive to achieve that because that will be doomsday for South Africa, she said. It is also understood that the DA is not keen on working with ANC coalition government that is not led by Ramaphosa, as they view him as a credible leader, and there are very few credible leaders in the ANC, Helen Zille said. It is also understood that the DA is not keen on working with ANC coalition government that is not led by Ramaphosa, as they view him as a credible leader, and there are very few credible leaders in the ANC, Helen Zille continues. Isn't it strange that 10 years ago, while Zuma was still in power, the DA wanted nothing to do with the ANC, but all of a sudden they are willing to get in bed with the ANC? Why? Why is that? Because they view Ramaphosa as one of their own. He is literally a malleable person, easy to control and easy to manipulate. He is weak and lacks confidence of a true leader. He has proven time and time again that he is not for the freedom and empowerment of Black people. Since he got into power, how many Black people businesses have collapsed? What has the Black community benefited from him? Anything tangible you can show and say, hello, as a Black person, this is what I have achieved under Ramaphosa's leadership. This man is a white man in Black man's skin. Ramaphosa's legacy is stained with blood, from killing innocent miners in Marikana to killing the ANC from inside out. Yes, ANC is corrupt in everything, but that is a black government that delivered us our freedom. It is a symbol of resilience and a beacon of hope. For black people, ANC will always be a reminder of how far we have come. It is a symbol that transcends through time. It is a legacy Oliver Tambo, Nelson Mandela, and Walter Sisulu left us. Through the ANC, their spirit is alive. So for Ramaphosa to kill that symbol in hopes of gaining favor from the DA, Rupert, and Stellenbosch mafia is gut-wrenching. He sold us. All they needed was a man that could infiltrate the ANC, get rid of Zuma, because we all know how much the people love Zuma. He always had our best interest at heart, and no one in the comment section can say Ramaphosa's government is better than Zuma's government. We got rid of the man based on lies and propaganda orchestrated by Ramaphosa and his allies at the National Executive Council of the ANC. Get rid of Zuma and slowly kill the ANC from inside out. Today, the ANC is sitting at less than 40% nationally. The worst result ever since the inception of the ANC. And that is Ramaphosa's doing. That is his legacy. That is the only reason the DA wants to work with Ramaphosa's ANC. He is not a threat. He's easily malleable, easy to control and manipulate. And the icing on the cake, he hates black people just as much as they hate us. It is a win-win for the DA. It is a win-win for the white man. An insider in Ramaphosa's circle said that he preferred an ANC-DA coalition, which I could believe because the ANC under Ramaphosa was sold to capitalists and he represents white interests. There are so many reasons why ANC shouldn't go into coalition with the DA. Their principles are not aligned, especially when it comes to foreign policies. When we say we are not aligned, we are not aligned. When we say there is a genocide, there is a genocide. Going forward, it's not going to be easy to negotiate coalition principles with the DA. A coalition government, to be stable, has also to enjoy sufficient mandate, which is a function of how much support the electorate has given such parties. If you have a mandate like that, you can govern decisively. There is no point where every step of the way you must be bargaining and end up with a paralysis. The DA is driven by a racist consideration that skills are white, efficiency is white, and that they are permanent friends of the West. There are some of the issues the ANC can't afford to overlook, and the DA and their liking to the West is one of them. The DA had their own principle. They might say, for an example, you can't take Israel to the International Court of Justice. Or they might say you are too close to China as a trading partner. Downgrade that. Or they might want South Africa to withdraw out of BRICS to show their loyalty to the West amid their beef with Russia. There are younger members of the ANC who prefer EFF and MK coalition because between these three parties, besides being an all-black party, their principles are not far off each other. They are aligned. They still want to put black people first, create jobs, eradicate poverty and hunger. The problem is their egos. The EFF would want to nationalize the Reserve Bank, which is not a good idea, and the ANC might explain to them why not. They may want Floyd Shivambu of the EFF to be the Minister of Finance. Question is, do we have better qualified people? It can't be transactional. It can't be about the positioning of individuals. They could negotiate and find better suited qualified people who are not affiliated with any party. They could be from an institution. You see, the ANC can negotiate that fact with the EFF. Problem solved. I love the fact that the EFF did not let election results get to them. They're still about the revolution. They're still standing on the fact that they do not want to get in bed with white people. They don't want to be part of a government of national unity where they must tiptoe around representatives of white colonial interest. They are not desperate for positions and to be appointed in cabinet.
A lot of resources, hundreds of millions, were invested not just to fight the ruling party, the ANC, to fight against the economic freedom fighters. where you had political organizations who dedicated their energy, their resources, human capital, and everything else that they dedicated was against the economic freedom fighters. We are not going to form part of any government with the Democratic Alliance. We're not going to sit alongside the Democratic Alliance and Freedom Front Plus in government as the economic freedom fighters. And we are not desperate for positions in government. We're not going to do everything in our power so that we're appointed into cabinet or we become speakers of parliament and all of those things. We're not going to sit alongside the land thieves. We're not going to sit alongside the people who got to benefit unlawfully for a very long time from colonialism and apartheid. We're not going to sit alongside them and constitute government of South Africa. If the ANC wants to choose that route, they can go ahead and do what they did in 1994. And we know what are the consequences of what happened in 1994. Black people and Africans in particular remain on the margins of economic participation in South Africa. Black people more or less stay in the same spaces that they lived under when apartheid had segregated black people to inferior spaces. It's still a lived reality. Racism is still a reality. Poverty of our people is still a reality because of this government of national unity.
In regards to the MK, I feel like this is a chess game for Zuma. He just wants to prove to Ramaphosa that he can take back his leadership chair. The MK party is a revenge vehicle for Zuma to get back at the ANC. But at the end of the day, the intra-political wars are none of our business. As the citizens, these intra-political wars are none of our business. But it does create a hostile environment for both the citizens and investors. But also, the question remains, would it be a bad idea for Ramaphosa to resign as president and make way for a new president, not Zuma, but someone fresh? I honestly feel like that could save the dignity of the ANC at this point, and that it is the only way for the ANC to prove to us that they are willing to change and transform the economy, and the change in leadership will help gain the trust of the people. MK serves as a reminder of this point. The DA always says a coalition between the ANC and the EFF is doomsday coalition, but doomsday coalition is a coalition between the ANC and the DA. The DA's principles are going to be so detrimental to South Africa that the EFF might rise into power by 2029. Hence, I think the DA-ANC coalition might be beneficial for EFF and MK because ANC is going to destroy the economy of this country and put the already marginalized people in South Africa into worse poverty. It is going to create a throwback where people are going to become radicalized. In a country with the highest inequality rates in the world, their plan is not to decrease it, but to increase it, which will make way for the EFF to swoop in and play the hero if the ANC-DA coalition comes to life. So I feel like we can look at this from a two-way street. We can flip the coin. Yes, the ANC-DA coalition is doomsday. It might be detrimental to the economy of South Africa. But on the other side of the coin, if the DA and the ANC get together, they correlate and form this big government of national unity, the people might see that this is not right. They might be empowered. They might feel so marginalized. They might feel like poverty is strangling them, and they might change their minds in 5 years and vote for the EFF into power, and the EFF will just be there to be ready to save us from this doomsday coalition. So either way, we can look at the coin, we can look at the glass half full, half empty. What do you think about this segment? Do you think that a coalition between the ANC and DA might be beneficial to the EFF and the MK? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss these groundbreaking conversations right here on the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Reneilwe Morema. It has been an absolute pleasure.